The ongoing rescue operations, Prime Minister Modi also making a mention of it and especially giving out this tweet saying that efforts are underway to save the 2-year-old Sujith Wilson. Prime Minister Modi saying that he's spoken to the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister here about this issue. The Prime Minister also making a mention here of this. This is an ongoing rescue operation that has been on since Friday. We're looking at nearly 70 hours and counting since the 2-year-old Sujith Wilson, who fell into an open borewell near his residence in Trichy. The operations to rescue him are a race against time now. A second rig is being used to drill a parallel well to rescue the boy. The relentless efforts that have been on, which is 3 meters, this drill which is going to be 3 meters away from the borewell, and all of this after the first one failed to break through the rocks. It's a rocky terrain there as well where this is being dug. It is still a key challenge here. In all the days that have passed, it is a key challenge to pull out the boy alive, that he survives this. We have with us our correspondent Pramod on ground from where all the rescue operations are currently underway at Trichy. Pramod, what is the latest? What more can you get us here? How close have we inched towards the boy?
Well, so far it seems like we have come up to a depth of 45 feet, though they want to take a depth of 98 feet. And the biggest challenge they're facing is that even though they're using tungsten carbide drill heads, they are unable to actually break the rock formation in the area. And it seems like the rock formation could be equal to that of quartz or the depth, thickness and strength, and that's the reason they are finding it very difficult. However, now they have decided to change the strategy and they have brought in a borewell machine as well, because they believe that it is easier to dig a small diameter or a hole rather than digging a 1.2 diameter well, and that's the reason they have gone ahead and they've decided to dig at least 6 adjacent, like 4.5 inch holes up to feet of 9. Then using the rig to completely break it, and once again going on like that, so that to not spend much time on it. However, for the past half an hour, we haven't seen any movement from the ground yet. The borewell machine is the one that is working currently.
Right, but Pramod, have the authorities, the rescue operation authorities here, been able to ascertain how deep exactly he has slipped into the borewell?
Well, the Commissioner for Disaster Management has very clearly mentioned that the child is at a depth of 88 feet, and that's the reason they want to go dig it up to 98 feet and parallelly dig another well. And the problem there also arises because considering that 98 feet is going to be extremely hot, they have already prepped 3 to 6 fire servicemen with like what kind of equipment they have to carry. It seems like they also have to carry their own oxygen cylinder to work, and to a maximum of 10 to 15 minutes they can work on it. So all those preparations also are occurring on side by side. At the same time, digging is the biggest problem right now, because it seems that this whole area is a rock bed and they're finding it extremely difficult to dig through it.
Pramod, please stay with us. Let's get in more voices. We have senior advocate and activist, Ms. Sudha Ramalingam with us on the phone line. Thank you for being with us, ma'am. This is yet another avoidable accident. Questions that continue to be asked to the government, the concerned authority, on negligence. These are accidents that are avoidable. There are strict instructions here, assurances from the state government that it's their job to be checking, inspecting areas that have open borewells to cover them up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are strict instructions, there are laws in place, there are so many things, but execution is abysmally poor as far as our country is concerned. Nobody even checks whether there are people digging borewells and how it is being maintained, and so on and so forth. It should be the duty of the local panchayats and municipalities to ensure that there are no such open wells or borewells thrown open like this without any guard whatsoever. And having said that, I also feel civil society has a small responsibility. We should also educate people not to leave borewells open like this.
Yes, but Ms. Sudha Ramalingam here, it's also the job of the authorities to be keeping a check. Now, this is, in this case in point, this was an open borewell at least for the past 4 years that remained open and there is nothing that the authorities did.
You are absolutely right. That's what I said. We have laws. We do not have any executive measures which are very effective. Nobody ever bothers to ever check anything. And licensing of such digging of borewells should also be there. There should be some methodology wherein there are preventive measures taken. We now only have some major reactions after somebody, some child falls into a well. You think about it. Other than that, even now, I think if you go about checking over around the places, there'll be a number of borewells which are not covered even today. So this is how our government works, and this is how our civil society is also blind to many things. We have got to work hand in hand with the state, and the state should be vigilant enough. Our laws are quite good, but execution is abysmally poor.
Right. And our correspondent Pramod, who's been keeping a check on all the facts of this case here as well. Pramod, the concerned parents and family, of course, understandably in an absolute state of shock. But what is the neighborhood saying here on this borewell that was left unattended and open for so many years?
Well, we can only say a basic thing here is that the people here are definitely ignorant, and they do not realize that such a borewell of a small diameter become a death trap. That is the biggest problem, because for them, just like because someone else is digging at the borewell and not getting water, they are moving it. It's very cost effective for them instead of going ahead and digging a well that would have a 10 to 15 feet of diameter, and that's the reason they opt for it. And the thing is that the government is the state government is the one that is supposed to keep a check as to how many borewells, where it is being done, who is the person digging it, and what licenses they have. Those things have not even done, though it is on paper, and that's the problem here also. The parents claim that they had thought that they had sealed it 5 years ago, but they did not know it was open and it was inside their cornfield. And that's the biggest shock, because partly they are blaming themselves for what has occurred to their child, and it's absolutely tragic what they are going through right now.
We have with us Mr. Chandra Mohan, activist, with us on the phone line here as well. Mr. Mohan, we were also speaking to the government ruling party, the AIADMK spokesperson earlier today here, in saying that they're doing, they want to be congratulated in all the work that they're doing with the ongoing rescue operations here, saying that it's not entirely their job, their responsibility of keeping a check on all borewells across the state. If this has been done privately on a private property, you can't hold the government accountable to that.
Yes, if it is done privately, the private people have to be careful, and they need to close it. But it is also the duty of the government to make sure that it happens. That is what a government is supposed to do. They can't just simply say, well, it happened in private places, we don't know, we can't help it. That's just them trying to absolve themselves of their responsibilities. Now, it takes
absolutely
from both ends. It takes to solve a problem like this. But the thing is this has been happening in India for many years, for decades now, right? And what is sad is that it takes a government not more than a month. If they want to make it happen, it won't take more than a month for any government to give instructions to every collector, to every village administrative officer, and find out from the private owners and whoever as to where these borewells are and how to close it down. That's all it will take, a month of serious effort. But the government doesn't care about poor people's lives. See, they're more concerned about what amount of commission I can be, taking for each government project, 30% or 40% or whatever. That's all. Money is the, main criteria
right.
for politicians.
The government would start caring if officers responsible, local area MLAs, civic officers responsible would be held accountable. This is, of course, for the police then to do its job, to book them under these cases here of negligence in avoidable deaths of young children in these areas. Stay with us, please. Our correspondent Pramod, who's continued to get us several inputs, several other voices here on this. Pramod has also spoken to the Congress MP from Karur, saying that the rescue operations are being unnecessarily delayed, adding there is no centralized command. There is a delay in decision making in this rescue operation. Take a listen in.
With us, we have Congress MP Jothimani, who's also been here for the consecutively for the 4 days, where rescue operations for Sujith's been happening. Ma'am, what is your view about the rescue operations that's been occurring over here? There's been 2 rigs and 1 borewell machine. Officials are constantly at this location. What is your view about the rescue operations?
So the rescue operations been underway for the last 4 days. Despite best intention, best effort, best official team, your police, fire service, and everyone is very committed. There are private guys actually who came to rescue the team. There are other rescue teams who are very committed. But bitter truth is the operation is unnecessarily delayed. So that might cause some danger to the child. That's what my preliminary fear now, because when this machine has come, it started grinding the rock. Then I was resisted that this could not be done. After some point of time, I felt that after 16 hours, the machine has dipped only 24 feet.
To say proper decision making was not done?
Decision making was delayed. There is no centralized command. I've been told CM is taking decision. I couldn't understand how he can take a decision. He's sitting somewhere else. The ministers actually were very committed. I really appreciate them because they all been here for 3-4 days now. So there are collectors, SP and the now secretary also here. So there are a lot of people who really put committed effort. But despite that lack of decision making, I seriously apologize to the people that mission has caused some delay. Now I think we are hopeful that after 45 feet we have seen the soil. Their plan B also they are trying to work out.
Has been trying to get in some voices from the state government here as well, and this is the Tamil Nadu State Health Minister in Trichy. He's been monitoring the rescue operations there, wanting to shift the blame though of this open borewell on Sujith's parents. He stated that the borewell was shut 5 years ago, but Sujith's family had not closed it properly. He also said here that the government would undertake measures to curb borewell tragedies in the future.
How about auditing and closing such illegal borewells or such placed borewells?
Already the GO is there, sir. Already GO is there, sir. We have given a strong instruction. So even you will take it up this issue. I mean, it has been closed by the same family 5 to 6 years back, and after that, agriculture, crop, everything they had done. But finally, we didn't expect. They didn't close properly. So that is the fault here. So definitely, government will gear up the efforts, pain or GO for. To curtail these type of incident in future.
Mirror now has also spoken to the Disaster Management Secretary Radhakrishnan, who's helped us understand the efforts that are being undertaken here and why this is a complicated process. At the moment, you have the NDRF, the state, the SDRF, the fire department, the ONGC officials along with experts and geologists all working together on this.
Standard operating procedure gives 2 options. Both the options is to go inside the borewell and various methods you can recover. So experts came. Unfortunately, since the size of the opening is 4.5 inch and the baby got locked, that method could not be implemented after efforts. Then we have gone back to the parallel drilling. Again, we are hitting rock. We have got a LNT high-powered bore working on it. Despite that, it is going around 500 centimeters an hour. So it's a fairly challenging situation because the baby is in 88 feet. Now this drill has to go to 98 feet and we have to go on a transverse process, for which technical expertise team with Neyveli Lignite Corporation officials, ONGC officials are with us, and also geologists and people, technical competent people are here on the spot.
Our correspondent Pramod, they're getting us further inputs here. Pramod, this is an insensitive statement here that is coming from the state minister. They're holding the parents accountable that it's their fault. But he's also admitted that the government is to take an undertaking here to check on all open borewells. Now, at this point, Pramod, it would be important to establish that this is an undertaking that the government had assured several years before. A very clear sign that the government has not been working here on this menace to cap all borewells.
Definitely, we can say one thing for sure, that Sujith's parents, because of their ignorance, unfortunately had to pay dearly for what they have, leaving that well open. But at the same time, the state government also, as per the health minister itself, he says that GOs have been passed, which means by 2015 itself, they have taken an undertaking that making sure that no such borewells would be open, causing any kind of danger to children. If that has occurred, it's been 4 years, and even then, if such accidents are occurring, who's supposed to take the blame? We're not exactly sure. It doesn't look like Sujith's parents, but the government, only because they are the ones who actually have the authority, the power, the manpower, and the money to take care of the situation, along with law in their hand as well. And it seems like even after everything, they could not save Sujith, and that is very unfortunate.
Pramod, many thanks for getting us those inputs here. Of course, as the rescue operations are still on, we're hoping that we will manage to get through to the boy. He will be pulled out today itself alive.